Evening, morning, 2021 Honor Specialist Teachers. I am just kind of recapping a little bit from yesterday. I want to congratulate you for making it through day one. I know that it is very much a challenge to take all that information in and to fully understand what this course entails. So I understand that it's confusing. I will tell you that it does get easier. It's a pretty intense course. We have 3 weeks of learning that we're doing together. And in that 3 weeks, we're doing a whole 125 hours worth of work. And I know that there's some other courses around the province that run the same program, but they do it over 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or even 6 weeks. That clearly gives you quite a bit more time than what OISE has decided to do. OISE has decided to do a very compressed schedule to give you more of your summer to yourself. Now, this coming off a complete COVID year, many of you are tired from 12 months, September to June of teaching, plus what we did from March to June of the previous year, and you need a break. But despite that, the world's not slowing down for you. However, in this course, I will tell you there's a couple of things that I would have done in a normal course that I'm really thinking about kind of stepping back this particular year, just because, you know, our ability to work through things is, it's really, really tight for many of you to sustain that energy, especially over this intense schedule. So I will keep that in mind. Having said that, there was a lot of things we had to do today in order to get us ready for the 3 weeks and just really start rolling. 2 of those things you had to do were signing up for the unit planning group and for the seminar group. So I want to talk a little bit about the seminar. So you sign up for your seminars, and now that I've collated all the information, it appears that we have 5 topics, 6 groups. So the topics include anti-Black racism, that was chosen, strategies for hybrid or distance learning. It said online distance learning. I changed that word to hybrid just now to represent more of what's happening during COVID especially, and then as you go back to normalcy in the classroom in a year or so, it might be just hybrid learning in the classroom. There was a lot of demand for that one, so I've made 2 seminars for this one. One will be on the Monday, one will be on the Tuesday. And then another group will be STSC, or Nature of Science Teaching. They're really the same idea, just using different words. There's a lot of different acronyms in education. STSC, Science Technology Society, NOS, Nature of Science. The 2 of them have really the same kind of principles. So you'll decide what title you want to go with, Lauren, Hamid, and Angeliki. Hopefully I said her name correctly. And another topic was 21st century teaching and learning. And then finally, literacy. Kevin, I'm not sure what you wanted, and honestly, all the groups are sitting at 3, so you can join whichever group you'd like. So those are going to be the 5 topics, the 6 groups for the seminar. So how does a seminar work? Because it might not really gel how it's supposed to work in this online environment that we're running. If we're face-to-face, you would stand up in front of your peers and you produce a seminar and you'd workshop them for the day, the 4 hours. We're online, so this has to look a little bit different. I will tell you, if you've looked at the calendar, that our seminar will take place on the week of July 19th. So that is not next week, but the following week. Things happen very quickly. All right, so on that week, you'll be presenting your seminar. You get to choose what your seminar block will look like. So you're going to eventually get access to a document like this. It'll be relatively soon. And on this document, I'm going to decide what dates you present. So of those 6 groups, 3 of you will be on the Monday, 3 of you will be on the Tuesday. And you as a group will decide what your time block will look like, whether or not you want to go for a 4-hour solid block or 3. You might think you could do it in 3, which is fine. Whether or not you want to go with a split block where you do 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the early afternoon, it's your choice. So the seminars are run pretty much asynchronously, synchronously, if that makes sense. So you're going to run it from 9 to 11, but you won't necessarily be live. Okay, so you won't be talking the same way I am directly to your audience. You'll be running certain things, you'll be asking questions, and your audience, your participants will be responding, and then you'll decide at 9:30 to move on to the next thing, at 10 o'clock move on to the next thing, and so on and so on. all right? But you'll need to tell me what your time slot's going to look like. And really a 3 or 4 hour block overall for your seminar is plenty of time, okay? Your presenters, I will fill that in, but each person in our honor specialist class will be signing up to officially participate and peer evaluate another seminar. And ideally, we want each seminar to be evaluated by at least one person, right? You'll notice I'll black out some of these blocks when I feel that there's too many people on one particular seminar. Having said that, you're welcome to peer evaluate more than one seminar. Also recognize that there is another class running with senior science teachers, and they are going to be participants. And so there's about 28 of them, I believe. And with 6 seminars, we're looking at, 5-ish, 4 or 5 of them potentially being a part of your seminar as well. So you'll have a pretty good audience for your seminar. Now, you don't have access to that document just yet. If you look at this announcement, I'm just kind of reading through it. It tells you all these things that I'm saying for you. You'll also see a link here, and on this link, when you click on it, it will give you a YouTube video of a prior seminar. So I just recorded it to kind of show you what it might look like. So you can look at that video. I'm just going to drag it over here so you can see a version of how you might set up a seminar. So this is one form. I specifically kind of blurred it out so you can't just take all the, just to make it a little easier for you to not be put blinders on so that you think this is the format you have to follow. So, but it gives you a general idea of how you could set it up. And I have also given you a space. So if you click on this link here, what it'll do is it'll open up the space on the Google Drive that will look something like this. And you'll see each of your seminar folders. Inside of that folder, you'll see a Google Doc, and that's where you can start your conversation, right? And so I can follow along. If you have another type of technology that you would like to use to have that conversation, that's fine. Do your best to, if it's a Google Meet or something like that, maybe you can have a person who's just writing down a couple minutes, and then you can share that script or transcript so I can see what the conversation looks like, because that is a part of the collaboration that I'm looking for, that I'm assessing and putting into the overall mark. The other thing I wanted to show you was just last year. So here's last year's. So you have a feel for what it will look like. So on one day there'll be 3, and the other day there'll be 2, and this will be set up in this senior qualification course, not our course. And you have access to the course, and at some point I'll create the discussions, and then each team could go in and set it up. And so I'm just going to click on one to give you an idea of how I've shown you one in the video, but here's another one that you can see. So I click on this collaborative seminar, for example, and you'll see the presenters that I create this part here, and then there'll be like an introduction. And in some of the teams, what they did is they created a Google Slides or another type of presentation. So I'm going to click on this link here. When I click on this link, it's going to open up this collaborative learning in small groups. So they set up their seminar in a presentation format, and in the presentation they embedded their videos, they embedded their questions, and on here, when you're looking to get the group to have a discussion, as opposed to using the discussion forum method from the discussion board inside the platform we're using for OISE, they created links that went to Google Docs that drove the conversation, right? And each person, as they came in, they color coded, and then they had the conversation here. So this is a great method. Most of us are very familiar with the Google Docs, either through using it as a accessory to the Google Classroom or whatever. I mean, a lot of learning platforms use Google Docs because it's one of the de facto best collaborative spaces to work in. And as I keep on going through their document, you'll see more links to TED Talks, more links to YouTube videos, more links to questions, and more links to places where they could have that collaborative discussion. So this is a really good method as well. It's a more modern method. The discussion forum method, of where you create discussion forum inside the platform and then answer, is a little clunky. It's a little more, 5 years, 6 years ago, but whatever method that your group is most comfortable with is perfectly fine. All right. So I hope that you guys have a good time creating this seminar. You don't have a lot of time. Now, you'll need to really focus on budgeting your time appropriately. So you'll need to figure out time when you can meet as a group to have conversations about what you want to do, kind of touch base and make sure that you are happy with what each person is contributing and so on, right? And this is all mixed in with the unit plan planning and the daily work for the discussion forums, all right? Now, I just want to jump back to the calendar here to let you know that there is time built in for you to work on these. So we just finished today. Well, yesterday, Wednesday. And tomorrow, Module 2, you'll see that it is still relatively light in terms of what it is you're completing. When you go to Module 2, please note that 2.1 and 2.3 are completion. I'm just looking over here at my monitor so I can pull up the work here. All right. So when I go to modules, please note that 2.1 and 2.3 are completion. It's 2.2 where the discourse is going to be, and that's where you're going to have the real discussion. So if you're one of those teachers that come in really early and there's not a lot of teachers in here who have responded, you might want to come in early, put in your post, and then come back a bit later when there's more teachers in here that have posted things in, and then you can reply appropriately. And be aware that if you do post early, someone might respond to you, and then you might want to carry on a conversation. So it's always a good idea to come back and take a look to see if anyone is hooked on to whatever you posted, and then you can go back and forth. All right, so that's what you're doing tomorrow. Look at Module 3 on Friday. So Module 3 is on scientific literacy. And literacy is a big topic. All our topics are really big. But in this case, it's highlighted in yellow. That means you're not participating online in the discussion forum. Even though when you take a look at this module and you look at Module 3 and it gives you an opportunity to respond, and you're welcome to. It says go to the DF and post a response. But I'm telling you, you don't need to. It's not my expectation that you're going to post anything about Module 3 to just give you time to decompress from the other content that you posted about, to review some of the Module 2. And a lot of this, you'll have an opportunity to demonstrate your reading and your acquisition of knowledge and your experience in the unit plan, right? So the unit plan, which I'm not going to talk about today because, there's a lot of information here. So this Module 3, Module 6, Module 8, Module 12, Module 13, those particular modules on that day, it's not my expectation that you are participating in the discussion. You're welcome to, because it's really interesting and you have a network of teachers who might have something to share. So you can if you'd like, but I don't expect that you will. Next week, take a look at what next week's looking like, just to kind of scan ahead. You'll see that Module 4 is a big module. There's a lot of work here. Module 5 and Module 7. So Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, there is work that's going to be posted in the discussion forum. Friday, next Wednesday, and next Friday, you will not be posting. So that will give you time if you want to meet with your group for either unit planning or for the seminar, which I'm kind of was talking about just now, to kind of pull that together. And then on Monday or Tuesday, depending on which group you are, your seminars will be ready and presented asynchronously, synchronously, but not live, right? So hopefully that gives you some understanding of how the seminar is going to work. Hopefully it'll give you some idea of how the timing in the course is going to work, as well as what you need to budget for each day in order to be able to go through the conversations, the discourse, as well as making sure that you have time to work on the projects. There's this one thing that's called the summarizing the SAQ. So my expectation there, and we've done this for the past few years, in addition to everything we've done here, you'd go into the senior science course, which you all received invitations to today, and you would kind of skim through their posts. And then as a leader, you would collect their thoughts and you kind of summarize it and then kind of give some feedback. As I said before, this has been a tough year. This is a really challenging year. A lot of that resilience that you've built up over your teaching career, you would be ready to go. And even though it would be challenging, you could do this. But I do recognize that in this particular year, some of that that ability to work through and sustain the energy, not only through June but through July, it's not quite there. So I'm generally considering just removing or summarizing the SAQ experience. I think it'll make the experience of this course less. It's a much richer course the more teachers that you're involved with. However, I do want to recognize that it's, as I said, it's been a very, very challenging year. All right. So hopefully this video talking about the seminars, as well as looking at what the course is going to be moving towards in the next couple of weeks, will set you at ease, give you some direction, and of course, if you have any questions, if it's relevant to the entire course, in the discussion help forum. If it is only personal, so relevant to you, then you can send me an email. All right. So I'm just going to click on home one more time. When you walk in, you'll see the announcements, and then you'll see the instructions of what you need to do for this course. I'll talk to you soon, and have an excellent day of learning.